emotions involved. And he says if you're training for this and you've done this work for so many months, this is your moment. Any vessel floating in the ocean is typically approached with caution because of the danger that chemicals and propellants can present. But after checking for those elements, the divers confirm the buoyancy and stability of the vessel, and then they start attaching guidelines. Whenever a diver comes out of the water, they're treated as a patient, they're treated as somebody who needs to be observed and watched, and this also goes for the astronauts who need to be treated with extreme care once the hatch door is open. He describes it as a great group effort between the U.S. Navy and NASA to get these astronauts out, handle them with care, and get them to a higher custody of medical care so that they can be better assessed. But the conditions that they're looking for, and this makes perfect sense when you consider what they've got to deal with. Wave height needs to be below 6 feet. Wind speed needs to be below 28 miles an hour. Visibility needs to be adequate, and they want any rainfall to be greater than 35 miles away. Obviously, once re-entry starts, they're going to get what they're going to get, but the time from re-entry to splashdown is relatively short compared to the time that they've got to course correct if meteorologists come to the conclusion that for some reason the water off the coast of San Diego isn't going to be the safest place for these guys to splash down. But again, the forecast right now, right across the board, and I'm really excited to watch this, to watch this splashdown and to watch the retrieval of those guys. Some of the stuff that they've sent back, I mean, there's obviously a tremendous amount of work that's being done. There are observations being made constantly, even at this point in the journey. They're continuing to take measurements, take observations, to take photographs both of where they've left and where they're heading, so as to give as much information as possible to NASA about upcoming Artemis missions. But one of the, it's just a cute thing, is this little plushie that you've probably seen if you've been looking at photographs. It's a moon wearing a ball cap that from a certain angle actually kind of looks like Earthrise, and that is in fact the name of the plushie, Rise. It was designed by a second grader, a kid named Lucas Yee. He designed it, he won a contest, the plushie has been produced, and if you look at these photos of the Artemis crew in space, you can actually see Rise tethered to the wall, floating alongside these four. What a cool thing. 8 years old and your design makes it into space. Awesome, awesome stuff. Hey, when we get back, we're going to talk about Eric Swalwell. Another accusation, another question about whether or not the would-be governor of California is a perfect gentleman. We'll get to that on KMJ.
Miss the show? Subscribe to the Afternoon Drive podcast. It's free wherever you get your podcasts, or click the podcast page at kmjnow.com.
Thank you for calling Shaw's Home Comfort. This is Annette. How can I help you?
I love you, I love you, I love you.
You nut. Does it seem like allergies are worse this year?
Now that you mention it.
We've been getting a lot more sniffly, sneezy, drippy calls. People are desperate for allergy relief.
Shaw's purification to the rescue. I can't believe the difference it makes.
With all the farming around here, I can't imagine trying to survive without Shaw's Pure.
It gets rid of all the dust, mold, pollens, even nasty teenage sock stink.
Those are the worst.
Gotta love Shaw's Pure.
As much as you love me?
Even more.
When you want the air in your home to be fresh, odor, and allergy-free, you want Shaw's Home Comfort. Plumbing, heating, and cooling.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Annette with Shaw's Home Comfort, and we're honored to serve you.
Go to shawshomecomfort.com.
We always fix what you need fixed. Auto House of Clovis.
22
2026 is here, and with it comes new opportunities and new adventures and possibly vehicle issues. Start your year off right with preventative maintenance and a general inspection of your vehicle at Auto House of Clovis. Family owned and operated, we take pride in our work, employees, and customers, making you feel like family, like Daryl's grandson Ben here.
Hi, I'm Benny.
We believe in straightforward honesty and pricing, just like it used to be. So whether it be a simple tune-up or a major engine overhaul,
Chipmunk and Big Six.
give us a call at 559-292-2028. That's 559-292-2028, and keep us
Auto House of Clovis.
in mind when you're in need of service.
I got Visalia.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different.
Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it's
4 o'clock. Power switched.
Plus, we guarantee they'll fit. Leinster.com.
I have sent sales tax called Measure C changed the way Fresno drives, grows, and gets funding from the state. Since 1986, it's improved Highway 41, 180, 168, Veterans Boulevard, and dozens of other routes that have helped make Fresno County a major hub. To learn more, visit MeasureC.com.
Now, KMJ's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi.
KMJNow.com. Anywhere you stream, I'm Philip Teresi. And the phone's half off monthly mosquito treatments from Mosquito Joe. And the Fresno Grizzlies deal, $100 gets you 4 field box. Remember when we had the Gray Davis recall and we had like Roseanne Barr and porn stars and all kinds of lunatics coming out of the woodwork? This time around, the most remarkable thing has been that the leaders of the pack in polling, even fighting for third place, you've cranky human being Katie Porter and Eric Swalwell. And Swalwell, previously, I would say, probably best known to most as the guy who had an entanglement, let's say, with a woman who was later revealed to be a Chinese spy, Christine Feng, sometimes called Feng Feng, depending upon what outlet you're reading. Eric Swalwell being forced yesterday to deny accusations of inappropriate behavior with female staffers. It's the first public response since the claims surfaced. Our news partner ABC 30 reports that Swalwell actually addressed the allegations during a town hall event in Sacramento on Tuesday night, answering questions following the report in Politico. When asked if he's ever behaved inappropriately with female staffers, Swalwell responded, no, it's false. And also some of the allegations I've seen, which is that we had NDAs in the office. There's never been an allegation. There's never been a settlement. And I will also just take stock that we're 27 days before an election starts. Here's the thing. Politico swings left. If you don't consider output, this is not a particularly conservative outlet. So the claims of wrongdoing are really getting momentum on social media. A lot of left-leaning online influencers. And they're saying that they have heard accounts from people who allege Swalwell engaged in inappropriate behavior as a member of Congress towards staff and other women. Politico themselves have not been able to independently confirm the allegations of wrongdoing. But the social media influencers say that a group of women have retained counsel and plan to speak out soon, but claim that they've been hesitant because of an NDA. The Swalwell campaign disputes the existence of any NDA. Quote, in 13 years, no one in Eric Swalwell's congressional office has ever been asked to sign an NDA, ever, a spokesman said. In 13 years, not a single ethics complaint by any staff in his office or any other office has been lodged, ever. One campaign advisor asked if Swalwell himself had ever asked anyone to sign an NDA, regardless of if they were staff, said that Swalwell has, quote, never asked someone to personally sign an NDA, although the campaign does have a privacy agreement to protect confidentiality. Well, of course they do. That's not, in this context, it's worth mentioning, but it's absolutely not significant. We have confidentiality agreements. There's minutia about the business that I can't talk about. That's normal. It's very different than an NDA handed to somebody who's trying to make a claim of inappropriate behavior. But the swirl of allegations online. Look, I want to put this out there, not as a defense of Eric Swalwell. I don't know the man. I've never spoken with the man. I'm not a massive fan. But he's just kind of a neutral no for me. The Christine Feng story has handled that, especially in the context of the gubernatorial campaign. I think that Eric Swalwell would have served himself better had he simply stepped forward and said, yeah, that was a thing Why, after we already had national security and congressional ethics investigations into the Christine Fay story? Now here in this case, most of the reporting seems to revolve around stuff people said on the internet. And I want to step back from Eric Swalwell for just a minute. And I want to talk about the Cesar Chavez story. And there's no relationship between the two, to be clear. Not that I'm aware. The day before the New York Times publishes their investigative journalistic piece on allegations that Cesar Chavez sexually molested 2 minors, and the admission from Dolores Huerta that she had been sexually assaulted and raped by Cesar Chavez. Fresno Unified Chavez statue on their campus, followed very quickly by a vote. We saw the California Hall of Fame remove him from their rolls. You've seen school districts and municipalities all over the country, but especially here in the West, especially here in California, rethink the decision to have named places and programs after a man who is credibly accused of sexually assaulting children and raping at least one woman. Now, I've read the New York Times article. I have also read Dolores Huerta's statements. I have no reason to doubt Dolores Huerta. The New York Times article is on these articles. I watch over our social media, both my own KMG Now stuff. And the commentary on those articles has been jarring. Because there was a moment, subsequent to Me Too, where there seemed to be a normalization of how we were going to address credible allegations against sexual harassers, sexual violators, sexual predators. And the momentary hysteria that came with Me Too, Dolores Huerta, why wouldn't listen to the prior to these allegations, character that is above question, that is beyond reproach, of whom any allegation made must be deemed stupid, bad, and wrong, because how dare you say this about this man? None of them have read the article. I am certain none of them have read the article. The people that are coming to his defense don't know what the hell they're talking about. And so when I hear, oh, well, there's a lot of people on social media saying that Eric Swalwell was a dirtbag. So what? I'm not going to vote for the guy. I was never going to vote for the guy. I'm not interested in Eric Swalwell being the governor of the state of California. Frankly, there's nobody in the Democratic field at this point that I think is fit to hold the job. I'm going to continue to look at Bianco and Hilton. I've got questions about Bianco and this Riverside Registrar of Voters file seizure. A little bit wary of that. I don't think that was a smart move by Chad. But otherwise, I like the guy. I've talked to him. I think he's got the right answers. But I have to make it clear that reporting that revolves around, well, a bunch of people on the internet said, isn't reporting. It's stupid, it's lazy, it's bordering on defamatory. And the only defense for a claim of malicious defamation is that Politico is reporting on the fact of the buzz on the internet. The buzz on the internet exists, despite apparently no evidence. Yet, now is it possible that Eric Swalwell somewhere at some time did something less than gentlemanly? Is it conceivable that a member of the House of Representatives handed an NDA to somebody as a requirement of a settlement? Yeah, those things are possible. But we aren't looking at the NDA. We aren't looking at a credible allegation from somebody who has come forward with